Good evening, fellow FanDuelers, and welcome back to the Grade A Flicks channel with another episode of Grade A Fantasy. We have another news update with some DFS relevance. Now, DFS fantasy relevance, yes. Does it have any relevance to the slate? No. As you can see on the screen here, I already have the single game that's going to debut or going to kick off the season. As you know, the Thursday night game is always subjected to the defending Super Bowl champions, and as you can see here, it is Kansas City hosting Baltimore. But what we're here to discuss is the wide receiver conundrum, as we could say, with the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, today was cut day, and just about 36 hours ago, along with all the cuts, the Chiefs decided to bring back Juju Smith Schuster. So this kind of surprised me. I thought with the draft picks that they've made and with what they have, and then of course, basically Kelsey's like another wide receiver, even though they're a tight end. I didn't really see them picking up anybody. I really thought they would have kept maybe some of their new young guys and moved forward in a more younger, in a more, kind of keep the youth movement going. Like I said, it's been a lot. It's been kind of a wide receiver carousel ever since Tyreek Hill left, ever since he did leave in 2021, after the 2021 season. So when that happened back in 2022, they picked up Juju. Marquez Valdez-Scantling kind of became that deep threat. Because remember, that Chiefs team was really all about the big play. They were smoking teams with Tyreek Hill always beating teams over the top. So MVS was kind of like the Tyreek Hill deep threat replacement. You had Juju, who had big play potential. And then back then, you had rookies like you had a rookie Justin Watson. You had Mecole Hardman, who was already like a stalwart there. And then remember, they also took a chance on Josh Gordon, and they had Sky Moore there as well as a rookie. And then of course that's a couple years ago, so even younger Travis Kelsey. After that, even though it was somewhat successful, Juju was only there for a year, and then he was gone. Had a very, very the downgrade to his career, and it kind of seemed like he was going to be out of the league after being cut by the Patriots, only having that 1 year. Plus, with the way the Patriots are building now, it's all about getting the rookie set up. They've given up a lot of trades. Like I said, I've gone over the Judon trade and everything like that. So with now what's going on now, they apparently are keeping 7 wide receivers. Right now on the roster is Sky Moore, who made the cut. He was rumored to not make the cut. No, it was Sky Moore that was rumored to not make the cut. He made it. Obviously Hollywood Brown's the big free agent signing. He's legitimately their best deep threat, big play wide receiver ever since Tyreek Hill left. They've been kind of trying to plug holes and use duct tape to fill that void. Now nobody else could be really Tyreek Hill except for maybe a couple other people, but Hollywood Brown is the closest that they got. Along with Hollywood Brown, you got Rashee Rice, last year's rookie standout, Xavier Worthy, the speedster, and Justin Watson made the team. So they added Juju. Juju's not on the slate as of yet, but it does make things going forward. Maybe next week. I think the Chiefs are on the slate on week 2, but it's another one of these things where it's like, okay, Juju's there now, kind of makes them kind of difficult to stack. It's a millie making decision if you get it right on the right slate, of course. But right now it's really, and now with Hollywood Brown most likely out with that shoulder injury. Obviously, that's the big free agent signing. They're not rushing him back. They're not. Plus, that's a weapon that they need for the future if they plan on repeating. But with a very, there is depth at the wide receiver position, but when it comes to DFS, it is very, very congested. But Juju does bring forth big opportunity, especially with Hollywood Brown being hurt. he will most likely take that side, because when he did come in, he did take the right side of the wide receiver position. That's what Hollywood Brown is right now. If everything was healthy with no issues, the starting wide receivers would be Hollywood Brown on the right, Rashid Rice playing the slot, and they'll have the rookie Xavier Worthy playing on the left side. But with Juju now here, it was just literally 2 years ago. He's coming back to the same regime, same quarterback, same kind of offensive scheme. But we all know how Kansas City gets down in the 20. Now, Juju could get some plays in between the 20s, but in the red zone, that play can go everywhere. A lot of shovel passes, a lot of scheming, a lot of trick plays. Can't say. And then, like I said, the running game is a lot better than a few years ago with a solid running back in Isaiah Pacheco. And then, once again, we all know the top target is the tight end in Travis Kelce. So, yes, a lot of depth, but it is a it could be a fun fantasy process as you go through week to week trying to figure out who you want to get to. It's semi not congested. 6 wide receivers are still kind of a bit, and all these guys get snaps. Not everybody gets a lot of snaps, but we've seen games where, especially in a single game, we've seen with the right night, it could be even though he might get 5 targets all game, Sky Moore might get a shovel pass and he might roll out off of Mahomes' pressure and catch the second TD. Things like that happen with the Kansas City Chiefs. But as of right now, with Hollywood Brown more than likely not going to play with that shoulder injury. He's been at practice, but has not. He has not been joining in on any activities. Hollywood Brown definitely opens up for Juju. He definitely has. He has the experience. It's not like Juju's this new guy and they're gonna work him in either. Like Juju knows this system. Like Andy Reid is still there, Mahomes is still there, Kelsey's still there. The guys around them may look different, but the system looks just the same. So Chiefs are on the single game. We'll see what Juju gets priced. Obviously, with the performance and everything, we'll see what Juju gets priced. Maybe in week 2 if they're on the slate. If I take a look here while I also bring up some numbers, I definitely got to see the schedule to see if the Chiefs are on that schedule next week. But it was just 2 years ago. Juju with this same Kansas City offense, same Kansas City quarterback, same Kansas City system. Juju on 101 targets, he did get targeted. 101 targets, 78 receptions, 933 yards. But here's the thing, maybe decent for fantasy season long as a wide receiver 3. But remember, ever since Tyreek Hill and what I used to call the Holy Trinity, the offense revolved around Mahomes, Tyreek, Kelsey. Now, Kelsey is the favorite target and will get you PPR. And also has those games where he can get 2 or 3 touchdowns in a game. But we all know that ball does get spread around, and that ball can go anywhere in any trick play or even standard play type of formation when it's inside the 20, especially inside the 5 and the 10-yard line. So it's more like an algebra question trying to figure out what to do with this wide receivers, with this core of wide receivers. Like I said, it's great to have all that depth, but fantasy-wise, it is definitely going to be a bit of a headache to try and figure all this out. But it's definitely one of those things where you double stack Mahomes with the right guy on any fantasy week. Let's say you fade Kelsey. Maybe Kelsey's too expensive. And you go with a cheap version of, Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy. And they're the ones that dominate the touchdowns. And let's say it's a game where Isaiah Pacheco only gets like 1 touchdown on the goal line. Hey, that's a winning stack right there. A lot of things happen. Like I said, we've seen Sky Moore get catch reverses. That's not a catch. That's not, a TD pass from Mahomes, but things happen in that red zone. They run so many very wonky, weird formations to try and trick play the defense to get them guessing where, you might think it could go to Pacheco on a play action and then it goes to Kelsey over the middle or in the flat. And then all of a sudden, we've seen he's been sitting on the sideline the whole drive. All of a sudden, they'll summon Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman is a speedster. He's done it before where he goes from the flat or he'll come from the slot and then he'll catch that shovel pass. You just don't know. And now with 7 wide receivers, it's definitely going to be a headache trying to figure that out. At least we don't have to worry about this headache week 1, because like I said, they are all on the single game. They are not on the main slate. But trying to figure this out is, I don't know. But with everybody healthy, without a doubt, it will be Juju coming off the bench. Definitely it's Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy. They'll probably sub out Xavier Worthy first and maybe do a little bit of Sky Moore, McCole Hardman. With the Chiefs, you just never know. You just never really know. And then, like I said, really the way they use him, as important as he is on the offense, it's really 8 receivers the way Travis Kelce is. Like I said, no matter who they bring in, he's still Patrick Mahomes' favorite target. So, like I said, it was just 2 years ago. He is an interesting ad. Pricing will depend on how well he does, obviously, in week 1. As I look here, the Chiefs, I'm looking for them. Yeah, they are on next week's schedule. Now, it doesn't matter if they add the 8 o'clock game, because week 2, 8 o'clock game in Chicago at Houston. But it's a big game on CBS, 4:25, Cincinnati at Kansas City. So we'll definitely see where they start pricing him at, pricing Juju and the rest of these guys. With that kind of shoulder injury, I don't know about first 4 weeks, but I think they're hoping for maybe week 3, but I don't think he plays the first. I really don't think he plays the first week. I don't think he played. Me personally, I don't think he plays. I don't think now. I don't, with the wide receiver depth that they have, I don't think they're gonna do anything like put him on the pup list so they can bring somebody up from the practice squad or anything like that. That's what I think. Even though, as you can see here, reports say 4 to 6 weeks. I think he could be out. I think he could be out maybe the first 3. Obviously, we'll have to see how the injury progress. Like I said, it's a serious shoulder injury. But like I said, with him out, definitely with Juju Smith Schuster, definitely look for added. I mean, the first place that I would go, honestly, is Rashee Rice. Out of all these people here, after Juju, and like I said, it's been a year, but Juju did spend a full year with this offense. After that, when it comes to familiarity, obviously the obvious stack would be Mahomes, Rice, and then Travis Kelce. But like I said, you also got guys like Justin Watson here and Sky Moore, who are all part of getting key passes sometimes to bail out Mahomes. He's not their first read, obviously, but we've all seen Mahomes scramble and get to these guys in open field and let them do their thing on their own. And like I said, inside the 5 and the 10, these are the guys that could run the reverse. It won't be Hardman. Sometimes it's Sky Moore. Sometimes it is Justin Watson coming in with the big play. You just don't know sometimes. So sometimes it's just one of those things where even with 6 wide receivers, it's still a cloudy picture. But like I said, if you can figure it out, this is definitely one of those things that if you get it right and you get the stack right, and maybe the more popular player, like I said, a Kelce, or let's say when Hollywood Brown gets back, he'll probably be highly owned on the cheap stack since he won't be playing. If you fade Hollywood Brown that week when everybody wants to play him in October, when he comes back sometime, and he's definitely come. I feel like he's definitely come back sometime in October. Like I said, I think he'll be out the first 3 weeks. Week 4, reports are saying 4 to 6 weeks. He'll definitely be playing October. I think he'll be out 4 weeks. I think obviously, rehabbing it, obviously separated shoulders, nothing to sneeze at, obviously, but when he comes back out in October, he's gonna be cheaply priced. So I think FanDuel will monitor it in a way where when he comes back in October, he's not going to be like $5,000. I don't think they're going to do that. But I think they'll slowly drop him. And I think Hollywood Brown is going to be part of a very cheap Chief stack, or a cheap part of a Chief stack. And maybe debut somewhere between 6 and 65, maybe no lower than 59. I don't think they're going to drop him to 55 or close to 4,000 or anything like that. Not like how when I went over yesterday's video with Greg Dortch and Mike Wilson on Arizona. But it's going to be pretty interesting to figure out what they're going to do with 7 guys. And then, like I said, guys like McCole Hardman adds value because he plays special teams. Sometimes Justin Watson. They might even experiment with Xavier Worthy, because coming out of college and the word out of camp is this guy can fly. Talking about like Tyreek Hill kind of fly. So I don't know. There's a lot things to figure out. Like I said, preseason's over. Now it's just the cuts have finished, and now we have like the cuts are finished, and now it's all about practicing and getting used to one another in just a regular practice facility. And the Chiefs will be the first one up to show what they got. But I just wanted to go over that little bit of news. Like I said, the Juju thing did kind of shock me. I didn't expect him to go back to Kansas City, but hey, champions are looking for. I mean, he is cheap. I mean, he did just sign, what was it? I think a 3-year, $25 million. So some type of buyout was then secured with the release, and then with that done, you get him on the cheap, just like how the Steelers did Russell Wilson. That's how it goes. And still a talented guy. I still think Juju has something left in the tank. Definitely time for a little redemption for him. If Juju could, be a big part of this offense, it would be a big help. Like I said, that's a lot of depth at wide receiver. Literally, like, no disrespect to guys who have been able to stay on the team like Sky Moore and Justin Watson, but that's a lot of speed. That's a lot of speed and talent. If you see Travis Kelce get a breather, and then a 4 wide receiver set with Pacheco pass blocking, you see Patrick Mahomes step back, and then you see rookie Xavier Worthing, Rashee Rice, a healthy Hollywood Brown, and Juju Smith Schuster. That is a lot of speed and a lot of talent. So I don't know if it'll ever get back to the explosiveness of Tyreek Hill, but it really doesn't hurt. But fantasy-wise, it is a big headache. But as we see here, like I said, and then obviously there was guys that, I thought that was going to make the team, but didn't. Obviously, the word was out on Kadarius Toney getting cut. There was a wide receiver that I was hearing about. I wonder if I see him here. Who was the wide receiver that I was hearing about? Oh yeah, Justin Ross. He made the final cut, but he was one of the guys that they let go today. He showed a little bit of talent. They might bring him back to the practice squad, or he might get signed to somebody else's practice squad, but he was showing some things during preseason. And and then they had, Richie James, but they didn't bring him back from last year. So, but yeah, still 7 wide receivers to figure out. That's gonna be a weird stack. Or, like I said, it's fantasy. Just do either single stack Mahomes and Kelce, do it the regular way, and then get different somewhere else. Who knows? Depending on the right matchup. But just wanted to go over that little bit of news about the wide receiver depth on the Chiefs. What do you guys think is going to happen? It's going to be weird. It's going to be hard stacking them. Like I said, it could be one guy one week. It could be another guy next week. Ever since it got dominated by the holy trinity of Mahomes to Hill to Kelce, besides Kelce having those few dominant games that he can have, and I think I can show that right here, besides the few dominant games, besides being consistent, obviously, all the time, like I said, 10 targets, 11 targets. You see 10 targets. You see this game at Buffalo with 2 TDs. No TDs after a while. And then every now and then he will blow up with 124 yards. There's almost a 30-point game with 179 and a touchdown. Consistent touchdowns here and there. And you already know Kelce has that ability to make the big play over the middle and be the goal line guy to just take over a slate and then be that optimal tight end like he normally can be. Showing slides is still slowing down finally. Father Time is undefeated. But like I said, if you are Patrick Mahomes, if you are the best quarterback's number 1 target, you will always be worthy of consideration. So, with that being said, that's some fantasy news. Next video, since I started with the quarterbacks, I'm not going to running backs. I will be going to wide receivers. So it could correlate with that. We'll talk about stacking. And on top of that, we'll just continue from there. So next video out, besides any fantasy news, will be the preview of the wide receivers on the main slate for week 1. This is Grade A Fantasy on the Grade A Felix channel. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. Signing off. Good night.